A few tricks then on the TI-Nspire. So I've got now my green line, and I'd like to do something pretty cool with it. I'd like to use the model to say when x is 12, when x is 23, when x is 36, how much carbon dioxide is in the atmosphere. Okay, we can do that, of course, just by using the equation and typing the equation up on our calculation page. But I'm going to use the graph. So watch this magic. If you press Control T, it takes you to a table of values. And on the table of values, you have your x values. And then I have my parts per million of carbon dioxide over here. Okay, so I could just scroll down, and these are all months. The x value is months. What does the question ask me? It asks me... Yeah, so at the end of May 2015, so you've got to calculate how many months is that then for May 2015. What was it? 41. And we can just go up to 41 here in the table. And on 41, I've got 401.8. So the table of values is pretty cool. You know, it just goes up. It's defaulted to go up and down by 1 for the x. And it didn't take us too long to get to 41. I just put my finger on the up and down arrow very quickly, and it gets there pretty quickly. Okay. If, however, you didn't want to wait all that time, then watch this magic. I'm actually on the table, so if I go Menu, Table, and Edit Table Settings, you can start anywhere on the table, and you can have a different step size. So you can start at 20 and go up in tens. You could start at 1,000 and go up in hundreds. Okay, so you could zoom to where you need to quite quickly. But that's pretty boring. Here's the very cool thing. So independent and dependent. Independent is the x value, and the dependent is the y value. So what I'm going to put in here, instead of auto for independent, auto generates a table of values. I'm going to put ask. Now watch what happens. The x values disappeared altogether. But I can type in any x value I want. 41. And over here, 401.8. I can type in 3. I can type in 65. Okay? So we've got a pretty cool mechanism by just the calculator's working out exactly when I feed an x is 65, what is the amount of carbon. Okay, so that's a pretty good trick. Remember what we did? Menu, Table, Edit Table Settings, and under the independent, we got it to do the ask. So basically, ask means that we're going to feed in the x value, and dependent is the y value. The calculator's going to work it out automatically. Okay. Unfortunately, this feature doesn't work the other way around. I can't type in the y value and get this particular table to work out the x values. But we do have another way of doing that. So I'm now going to do Control T. So Control T just turns the table on and off. But now I'm going to look at the question 7. Assume that the graph in question 5 continues. Find when the amount of carbon dioxide first reaches 410 parts per million. Okay, so for this one, I'm just going to change my scale a bit. I'm going to change this to 415. And I need to see 410 intersecting the graph. So I'm going to change the months as well. I'm going to change this to 80. And now, Menu, Graph Entry, Function. I just have to type in y equals 410. There it is. So this is the height that I need the green model to get to. At the moment, it hasn't quite got there, has it? So I'm just going to change the scale again on the x-axis. I'm going to change that to 100. Oh, brilliant. Can you see where it is? It's here. So there's a number of times when it hits it, but obviously it goes above it just where the first intersection point is. And that's the function you need. You need the intersection function. So watch, Menu, Analyze the graph, and have the intersection. Now, because I've got 3 graphs on there, it wants to know which 2 graphs do you want to find the intersection of. So I want the orange graph with the green graph. And now basically, The way the calculator works, I think you remember maybe from before, you have to search from a lower bound to an upper bound. So from a lower x value to an upper x value. So just click a point before the intersection, click a point after the intersection, and it finds it for you. So I can see here that 85.5 months is the key value. So you have to obviously add 85.5 months on to the starting month and year. Okay, so those are top tips on the TI-Nspire. Now everyone, hopefully on the menu, on the settings, graphing angle should be in degrees. If it's not in degrees, then the whole graphs won't work. They'll be a bit messed up for you. Okay, and again, don't forget menu, window zoom, window settings. Here's where you can actually change all the X and Y values at your convenience. Okay, any particular questions while still screencasting on use of TI-Nspire? Fabulous.